acceptance of motion pertaining to termination severance of executive director. We have the an agreement here. This was reviewed. Oh, Don Billig is here. We just started, Don.
Do you need one?
No, he's got one.
So, hopefully everybody has read this. Does this, Tom, reflect, there are some changes made, and an attorney looked at it and suggested to clean it up, make a few changes to it. Does this reflect your motion that we passed at the last regular meeting?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Okay. We haven't had a motion on this. I don't know, this is a resolution. Don, can you fill us in on this?
I have a concern. The first paragraph.
That was my concern.
In the North Kooch, to eliminate the position of executive director in future years. Are we just eliminating this position?
Yeah, that was my question as well. Is this a resignation?
No, it's not. I'm not.
Okay.
We're just taking away this position now. There's going to be this position. This position is not going to be anymore.
If we get another position, it'll be different than this one. We're going to redo it.
Okay, that's the intent of that.
Well, that's my intent. That's my Well, the present position is being terminated, and
I realize
and
that.
We're going to, and I guess it's up to the board. My intention would be to create a new position and redo the job description and make a different position out of it in the future. But that doesn't mean we wouldn't have some type of a director. This position, the present one's being terminated.
Is it the position of this board that we're going to hire somebody in place of Mr. McBride?
That's up to the board.
Well, yeah, that, you know, that lack of specificity kind of complicates this whole thing. I mean, it leaves open the possibility of the director filing for unemployment, for one thing. You know, I thought it was a resignation myself. Although I don't think the motion that we passed really addressed that specifically.
We didn't initiate terminating the position. The director brought forward a letter of resignation.
Right.
Effective beginning of the year.
With caveats.
With caveats, yeah. But we never initiated this. I mean, we didn't eliminate the position.
No.
The director didn't want to work anymore. So
No, it's not true, Steve.
Well,
I know there was other circumstances about your health and that.
I've
that were
been told that this
discussed.
job is going to be terminated.
I don't know.
well, I don't think that was, we ever, that's not what we said. I mean, I had planned to maybe ask the board to rework the job description somewhat. I mean, I think that's probably what we had in mind.
That's what we had in mind, and it's a technicality, but it's what we got.
Yeah, but the position will still exist.
Well, not the present one, but it'll be one that'll do what we want it to do.
Right.
John, so we're still gonna have an executive director. The only thing we will change is the job description.
Well,
Is that what I
That'd be
understand?
that'd be my intent, but
Yeah.
we are eliminating position and so Chopper can be relieved of his duties.
Don?
I would so move then to approve the severance pay agreement as presented with the understanding that in the future, we will hire a director and that,
Some sort of director.
yeah, the job
That's
description
my
will be
intent, and
changed.
that's what my motion was last time.
Motion I made.
I'll second it.
All right, this motion second. Steve?
All right, let's get down to what the severance includes. It's $13,730.85 based on 21 weeks of gross pay. Well, that's 21 weeks at, I don't know what his hours were, 20 hours a week. That'd be 420 hours. And 13,000 divided by 420 would be $32 an hour.
Yeah, I
How do they
really-
arrive at that?
I'm salary, I'm not hourly.
Well, how do they arrive at the 21 weeks?
Steve Shimon felt that that would be the number that would satisfy.
Well, I know they had a city council meeting last night, I don't know what the results were, I couldn't find out, but I know there was a severance package on the table there for 6 weeks.
I've been here for 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow,
6 weeks was approved.
So in a way, we opened up ourselves to this. Would be granted, pay for unexpended vacation pay for some of the operations, a couple of the operations people.
that has nothing to do with, he's still eligible for his vacation pay that he has coming, according to the statute. He's entitled to his vacation, his health. So
Who is?
there'll be another,
Who is?
you would be, this severance does not include,
I technically don't have any health benefits other than the HRA, which I'm giving up.
do you have vacation or?
And I don't have any vacation. My time is when I can take it, and I haven't been able to take any time off. I've had 21 days off in 9.5 years.
It says severance pay does not include compensation for accumulated sick leave or other payments in the form of periodic contributions by an employer toward premiums of insurance.
Doug and Steve went over that at the meeting.
Just a minute. Well, the thing is, we
I don't know what.
can't really revisit, well, I suppose we could if we rescinded Tom's motion.
Only majority can
But,
rescind the motion.
What's that?
Only majority can rescind the motion.
That's,
But
I,
we knew that when we voted on it, that we had to.
This more or less carried out what we made an original motion, however, to get a legal opinion.
Right. And,
we
you know,
did
this
that.
is how it came out, and I guess it reflects the motion. So,
no, Mr. Chair, that first paragraph, that was not what went down at the meeting. And you were all here. We did not terminate the position. So if we're gonna terminate the position, there opens up a whole new can of worms like the chair suggested about unemployment and everything else.
well,
This was gone over by the City of International Falls attorney. And he said that it was up to law.
I think you guys directed Doug to do that, so maybe we should aim at Doug.
That's right.
Yeah, I brought it to him and he said, if you're gonna do this, if the board has decided to do this, he said, I will write something up so it's more legal or
Legalese.
sounds better
Yeah, yeah.
and whatever. So that's what he did, but
And it probably should be in the form of a resolution.
oh, what?
Well, it's in the form of a resolution, that, it probably should be that way.
Yeah. No, it is the first paragraph.
We never done.
Go ahead, Dave Farmer.
What is a separate check for all other benefits he has earned during his employment? What does that mean? And how much is it for?
I've never there's nothing there. Steve said he had to put it in just because, but I don't have,
Legality.
I don't accrue anything, David, you guys know that.
The only money that's gonna be written out is this 13,730.
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Chair, I thought that first paragraph, if we were gonna eliminate the position, we should have had a board motion to reflect that.
Yeah, probably so. I'm just not sure whether that first paragraph
Well,
really
John,
reflects like what we had.
Is he quitting or are we terminating him?
Position.
I thought it was a resignation.
No, I'm talking about him.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the position. Is he quitting or are we terminating him? Two different words.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
entitled to a lot of different things.
No, I thought it was an understanding in that it was a resignation.
Yeah, that's what I
At first,
understood,
yeah.
yeah.
I was under the understanding that there was people on this board that had indicated to Chopper, we were gonna terminate his position.
Can you tell me who that person is?
Well-
What people?
You for one.
No, that's a flat lie. I'll
No.
tell you it's a flat lie.
Well, that's what I've been.
And I told him exactly what I told you.
Don't
on
raise
our
your
board.
voice to me.
And tell you something, don't
I can
accuse
raise my
me of
voice
something.
too, so don't
Raise it.
get
I
that
don't
way.
give a
Okay,
shit.
all right,
I'm
all
just
right,
trying to
all right.
discuss
Okay, let's cut this off right
Well,
now.
don't say lies.
I'm not saying a lie.
Well, it
I
is.
said what I've been told.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I mean,
That's
that's.
hearsay, buddy.
Well, maybe it is.
Here's the
it's-
piece of it.
Yeah, Tom,
I was just asking you guys to.
Yeah. I never said anything.
okay, it's not both.
Yeah.
But the fact is, he was led to believe that his position was gonna be terminated. And I don't know who all made him think that.
Wasn't me.
Well,
But that was what he was led to believe.
If-
And that, let me finish.
No, because you're wrong, this board had not taken any action on that. And I don't care what the rumors, the innuendos are, you know, the politics on the street. I don't care about that. This board had not taken any action on any elimination of any position. I know that.
No, Mr. Chairman, at the last meeting, we all agreed we weren't gonna fire him. Right?
You betcha.
So if.
I told him twice I wasn't gonna fire him.
And if we're not gonna fire him and we wanna change directions of the executive director, this is the way we have to do it, I think.
I think this
Yeah,
has been discussed.
I fully plan to advertise for the position.
We have a motion on the table.
We have a motion and second.
One order would be to vote on the motion.
John, if the word termination is that what's the legal position that?
Separation.
That's a technicality that has to be that way.
It has to be, that word has to be in there?
Yeah.
Did he quit or
I don't
are
think-
we firing him?
I don't see termination.
No termination.
I don't see termination in this.
We're doing away with the position, so there's no position there anymore.
Paragraph, Chuck.
Well, you know, the simple thing is, the fact is, if we say we eliminate the position, we're liable to pay unemployment, and our rates will increase, and
No, they
so
won't.
that.
No, they won't. That's fear mongering, that's BS, I mean. we're
Would
gonna-
you plan on applying for unemployment?
Yes.
There you go.
Perfect. There's underlying circumstances, like the chair suggests. I mean, we're gonna have to have somebody fill his shoes. We're gonna have to either promote Stacy to do more work. I mean, it's gonna cost the district to do this. I don't think Stacy can just handle it all by herself. We're gonna have to hire a new position. We're gonna have to have more special meetings. This resignation letter came out of the blue at the last meeting. The director stated he's not healthy, he has to quit. And I brought up, well, apply for short-term disability or something, and the board said, well, that takes too much paperwork. You know, this This first paragraph is very
Nothing to do
misleading,
with
and
work, about disability.
I don't think we're terminating the position at all. I had no.
Okay, one of the problems is that we don't have an attorney on staff. We went to an attorney for a partial opinion on the legality of giving a severance. We didn't ask for an opinion on the difference between resignation and termination. I don't think termination's ever been brought up.
I do believe that in our regular meeting, we have a packet in, or a thing in there about redoing the part-time executive director's job description. So I assume that with that in there, we're terminating the position as it is now and are going to review the job description of an executive director
But
that in the future that would work for this board.
Tom, Don, I don't think we're terminating a position. We're not terminating any position. We are going to probably rewrite. I looked at the job description and there's some things in there that I don't know who wrote it, but I would want to change if the verbiage is probably not what should be used. So, no termination of position. We do have a motion and a second. Could you repeat that motion that you,
The motion I made was to approve the severance pay agreement presented to us and on the table in whole. It was seconded. I believe it was discussed.
well, we haven't finished
Completely.
discussing it. I don't think, I mean, you know, this is pretty important stuff here, Don. Yeah, Steve?
I question the formula that the attorney used in arriving at the 21 weeks, and I wonder if Cynthia has any insight on how that is determined through the council meeting last
No,
night.
we won't, no, we don't do that, Steve.
No, there's
No, we
not
don't.
a specific
It was 6
formula?
weeks.
No, wait a minute, we don't do this, just.
6
not
weeks?
this-
Well, that's quite a difference, 6 and 21.
Yeah, but we do it, we'll do it our way. We'll do it
Length of
with
service.
the attorney.
Length of service?
Well, that's a determinant
Is
factor.
that how he arrived at
Well, that's
21
part of
weeks?
it.
Well, you'd lose money if we go by what the city does. She had 3 years and paid him 6 weeks, that's 2 weeks a year. He's got 10 years, and 2 weeks is 20 weeks, he's getting paid 21, so we shouldn't be arguing about it.
Well, to me, none of the other directors, you know, you call it executive director, but previously I think they were just directors. They never got a severance package when they quit.
You know,
This is like giving this money that we're giving away is not, I don't think is our money to
Right,
give
right,
away.
right.
It's
you know-
money that's to be used for infrastructure and for salaries to run the
right,
district.
but there's an underlying motion that we passed that would allow this, and I'm not happy with it, but, you know, this is the way to ease this transition that we're making to a new director. And the only problem I have is with this termination idea, and it's not a termination, so, I mean, I wanna make it clear, and I hope the rest of the board understands that this is not a termination, it was a voluntary resignation.
No. We're just gonna start over, that's all. We're gonna start over with the executive director's position.
That being said,
Keep going over this.
we're gonna run it, we're probably running into problems with this later, but, you know, right now, we have to vote on this document, which was based on a previous motion that we passed. You know, apparently we did not give good enough directions to the attorney. We don't have an attorney sitting here at the table that can advise us every time we make a move. So,
How can you sign this then? I mean, that first paragraph is There's no truth to it.
There is truth to it. You want me to open up? I will.
Well, actually, you know, you got a point there that
Chopper, there,
You want me to open up,
things
Steve? You're not
haven't
gonna
ran
like it.
very smooth, but we try to work through problems, and it's not anything against you. It's just, we try to work through problems.
That's not true.
yeah, well, you know, we could have, I mean, if you would have stayed, that'd be fine with me, you know. We could deal with our differences, I'm sure.
It's not an untruth that a member of this board asked me to come up with some type of severance package that the board could live with, and they would entertain it, because they were looking to go in a different direction with this position, in a direction that they would rather have somebody else on it. And that person told another person the same thing. We sat down for 2 hours, hashed it out, and every time I talked to this person, I told him I'll have that package ready for him. Thank you very much, looking forward to seeing it. I gave the package, and that's what you guys saw at the last meeting. You guys made a motion and passed it with it being changed and authorized and okayed by the attorney. You want me to get into all the basics and all the things that I know that aren't hearsay, I will. And I don't know if some members of the board are gonna like it. This is time. You guys want me gone. You can't deny that. Some of you want me gone. Not because you hate me, you just want me gone. And I can accept that. Go to a different direction. We talked about going in a different direction with this job. And it's totally different than the job that I'm holding. This position is being terminated. Not Chopper McBride.
No, you know, I'll admit that I said that I thought you had, what your understanding of the position was. But it's never been a political position with directors in the past, you know, where you go up, make appearances to the city council and advocate for a position opposite of what the board had, how the board had voted. Things like that, you know, and that becomes political. That makes your performance of the job political. Now, that's my only gripe. You know, I've come out and said that in board meetings before.
Can we vote on it? Can I call for the question?
Yeah, I guess we're gonna be required to vote.
I think the chair calls for the question.
Hmm?
You call for the question.
Yeah, I mean, Don, the motion is before the board. So?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
No.
No.
Yes,
No.
It was a yes,
Yes.
3 yes,
No,
one no.
Voted no.
Yes.
4 yeses.
4 yes.
4
No.
yeses and three no's so far.
3,
5, there's 5,
4 to
1,
3.
2, 3, 4.
4 to 3, then no.
Wait for Steve.
I voted no.
Okay, no, and it's 4.
Mhm.
It's yes, 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 4 yeses, 1, 2, 3. I'll vote yes. Okay, let's move on. Next item on the agenda.
Are we ending the early meeting and starting the regular meeting now?
Well, we've got an item here, second reading of the 2016 budget. I don't know, maybe we should have taken that later. We don't have, the audience member is next, Cindy Heibel Solutions. There's no Cindy Heibel here?
Not yet, Mr. Chairman. She actually was gonna be here at 8, so you're a little early.
Oh, at 8 o'clock?
So you can look at the budget.
Let's just, can we just for a second, take up the second reading of the 2016 budget?
Did you see, Mr. Chairman?
And we will, can we, interrupt that discussion when she gets here? Get that taken care of?
Yeah, that's, then if you want me to jump. Mr. Chairman, as you had requested rightfully, there's been a combination of the budget, and I also put the breakdown of the budget in there for everybody's information.
Okay, we had a preliminary discussion on budget, and we have, Don.
What's, on the top, it's got board 2016, director 2016,
Yeah.
can you explain that?
John, you want to do it, or?
Yeah, I'll do it. It's a question on how the actual rates were calculated to start with. Now, I haven't, the original budget we passed on, okay, it yielded, to my, with my mathematics, it yielded radically different rates per thousand. When we factored in the treatment surcharge, that became a real question for me. In the past, we've always, to get a rate per thousand, in order, that's what we bill the entities, we've always taken our total expenses as budgeted, and we took the number of gallons. It's all flow-based according to the user charge ordinance. Everything is based on the number of gallons that each entity contributes. So you take that number of gallons, you divide it by the total expenses, and it's that simple. You come out with a rate, and then when your actual flows are billed, of course they're going to be different than what you budgeted, then you just multiply that rate times the number of gallons to get the monthly billing for each entity. That includes all the expenses, and the expenses include debt service. So everything is all lumped into one, and
I think the reason that was put in is because we had a couple of years, we had extremely low flows, and when you do that, we don't have income.
no, but also what we've done, Tom, is we've taken the last 5 years, customarily taken the last 5 years, averaged those flows
Right.
for the next budget year, and which smooths out that, and it's a moving average.
But it does smooth it out some, but it doesn't smooth it out when you have a year with no flows.
Well, but it's not unpredictable.
Right.
No, you did-
That's why you gotta have, otherwise, we'd have to file bankruptcy.
Well, what we have to do is
You got,
you have to go into reserves. That's what reserves are there for, is for, suppose we have 6 months of operating reserves in the account, and that's, I think that is for.
yeah, well, I'm not defending it, I'm just saying why it's there.
Yeah, but
The change I see is that originally our first reading, the 2016 budget, the total income was $1,771,187. And now this reading, these numbers are all like 60 grand lower.
As
For some
well,
reason.
after that, the very first reading, and we didn't apparently do all the math, I had International Falls rates would have gone down, their charges would have gone down 10.9%. East Kooch charges would have gone down 10%. And Rainier's would have gone up 34%. And I couldn't figure that, how that would happen. I mean, based on the 5-year average, I
I think it's probably because Rainier's percent has gone up a little bit, hasn't it?
well, not over 5 years, it wouldn't have gone up that much. You know, I mean, you could not make that up in 5 years average. You know, you cannot go up 34%.
And John is right. For the last 5 months, according to our analysis, Rainier has been trending towards 2% of the flow. But John's also right to go back on the 5-year average, and we do keep the 5-year average. And Greg and Stacy and Bob are very religious on it, you know, for the last 5 years. And the average came out as John had requested, and the numbers changed a little bit. And
Yeah.
they went up for Rainier flow, but they went down for the percentage of debt service for Rainier.
Well, you know, it's just that we have to be aware that the sewer, their user charge ordinances states that all entities be charged the same rate. In other words, dollars per thousand.
And that's $2.05.
Well, no, that's the treatment charge without the, you know, without the surcharge, which I originally thought was just debt service, but apparently it's not. It's some extra charges, O&M charges as well. And I don't see why you can't just lump everything together, because those are our costs, our expenses.
And I did.
Original treatment charges going back before the plant was built, the new expansion, that was $2.05 per thousand. Of course, our expenses, since this new plant was built, will gone up quite a bit.
Right now, I'm using 90 grand as a figure instead of 350,000. That was anticipated.
Okay, let's move on then, back to, yeah, we're gonna, yeah, Don, go ahead,
If
real quickly.
I'm trying to understand this. Board 2016, this is what was presented before.
No,
No. Okay.
they're not, these numbers are different than the
All right,
first
but the
reading.
director 2016 is what you changed?
I was
Who
asked,
changed?
I was asked to bunch the income up.
On the income of the board, it's 1,712,000. On the director, it's 1,712,000. If you reduced it, 600,000 for International Falls and 9,000 for Rainier and a bunch of thousand for East Kooch, how could the income be the same?
Well, you wouldn't even be able to put your capital improvement away, your 205,000. If that formula.
But this
was
is-
put in.
Our income is the same on both. If you reduce the director of 2016 by all that, I don't know, over $1 million, how can the total income be the same?
Because the cost.
It is the same.
Huh?
It is the same. These numbers that are here aren't here. If you put these numbers here, total them, all these come
They
out the
just
same.
rearrange.
Oh,
They
They
just
just
rearrange
rearrange the
them.
numbers.
John, would you like to take a breather from this and have Cindy?
Yeah, we should, we're gonna interrupt this discussion
Yeah.
for, audience member Cindy Heibold, Solutions Insurance, is that the name of the,
It is, yes.
okay?
See, the numbers are different now, going down the numbers.
yeah, I see that.
We won't introduce everybody right now, I mean,
Okay.
you're just gonna have to figure it out, I guess.
Okay.
Alright. Yeah, we had some questions on our health insurance
Yes.
coverage, and I don't know whether you have gone and talked to the,
You know, without a calculator,
are we gonna do this?
oh, please.
Talk to the people, covered people, you've had some discussions with some of the people at the plant and some of the employees, or?
I've not met with any of the employees.
Okay.
But I've met here a few times and ran some options, and so I have, we kind of went back and forth, and I realized kind of what you guys were thinking, and then I think there was a meeting I wasn't at, so I took those notes and kind of recalculated the figures to give 3 different options for you guys to look at, and then I can meet with the employees once you decide, you know, what you want to do or what you want to present to the employees.
Yeah, I think that we had, on a couple different occasions, we had reaffirmed that our best option was option number 3,
Okay.
which I believe was the equivalent coverage of same plan as we have currently been.
The current plan that you're on now will not be renewed by Blue Cross for 2016, so they gave a plan that was close to it. And I'll hand these out so you can peek at them, and then in here I wrote kind of what the changes were. Increase in deductible by $500 for singles and $1,000 for families. And then on option 3, I put in here what the savings would be if you went that route. And then on the last sheet here, the unstapled sheet, is the plan summary, so you can kind of see what it looks like.
Hey, John? Shouldn't this been run through the HR committee and then brought back?
Well, we see, we can have a little discussion here and,
Hmm?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes, yeah, that's the.
as long as she's here, I think we should answer any questions real quickly, try to be quick though. So, I think the question we have resolved, please tell me I'm not wrong, is that we would take the total premium,
Mm-hmm.
divide that by the 7 number of people that are
Mhm.
covered. We would allot each, this is none of your business, I guess, allot each member an allowance,
Mhm.
$1,350 per month. And if that wasn't enough, 7 people times 1,350, that was not enough to cover the monthly premium, then each employee would be assessed, would have to make up the difference of that number. So, in other words, each employee would be paying the same amount per month.
I think the way you said that is a little confusing because you said I think what you did was you took the total premium, divided it by 7, and then the knowledge I have was $1,300 you were gonna cap it at. And so then when you look at what's left, it's $58 per employee.
Right.
So each employee would pay $58.
Right, okay, that's my
Yep.
understanding, is that what the board's understanding,
50 though,
how that should be?
What was that?
Yes, but
50.
Okay,
We
the
did-
email I
we did
had,
say
I thought 1,300, but I
Yeah.
can revise it to say
Yeah.
13, whatever you
Yeah.
guys want.
We talked about 1,300, but I think we passed 13.
We passed 1315, that was board by board motion, so that sounds like, it sounds okay to you.
Yep, the standards are you have to, as an employer, you have to give a minimum of 50% to each employee, which you're doing that. So when you run,
Yeah.
yep, you're fine.
And so the bookkeeping for the charges to each employee will be done in our office.
Yeah, that's all in house.
Yep.
You were right
Yeah,
first time.
and so we'll have to figure out the mechanism in which to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, does that sound like,
Was there, I didn't remember us pooling the 1,350, putting it into a pool.
Yeah,
that's what we did, that's what we
We
did.
made a motion
This
to
is a
pool
true
this.
group, this would make it into a true group.
We've never made that, voted on that.
that's what we discussed.
Yeah.
That's what we discussed.
That's why I was thinking it should go to the HR committee and then brought back to a
Well,
whole.
you know, the thing is, we went around and around about this.
Hang on, before you answer that question, let's investigate if there's a motion or not, okay?
I don't remember a motion being made to pool it.
I thought there was a 1350 date.
Yeah,
that you
there
put
was a
out.
1350 motion.
Yeah, but then that, the day we went to that option 3,
No, but not in the motion. The motion said to cap it at 1350.
okay?
And
Per
work on
employee.
this issue in the next few months. Voting yes, Dalt, Thompson, Rudd, Farmer, Billig, Rugged, Woodworth, voting no, Blair.
What, I didn't hear the first part.
Just what you said. Motion by Farmer, second by Thompson to cap insurance at $13.50 and work on this issue in the next few months.
That's right. That's the way it was. It wasn't a pool. It was, the intent was to give each employee up to $1,350.
Okay,
I
okay.
mean, that's the way,
Okay, we can make that motion right now if we want. Would somebody make the motion to pool the,
I will make a motion to pool.
all right, got a motion? Is there a second?
wait a minute, are you gonna rescind the other motion we passed?
No,
We
no,
just-
no, no,
just
that's
a
the
cap,
point, it's
just
just
to be
how
amended.
to make this into a true group, is what,
You
We can put amended on there, David.
We just set the cap.
We can put amended to a previous motion.
we have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, Tom seconds motion.
Okay, now, clear for the employees, John, which we have to, Greg is here, that it would be, $8 per
Well,
employee, but the deductible's gonna go up $500.
Exhibit
You
A
won't be
and
paying
Exhibit
50,
B,
paying
that's what we're
$8.
looking at on her handout, the back 2 pages. So,
Exhibit B would be the one that you're discussing right now.
right,
So
only,
it's- yes.
only at 1350 instead of 1300, so instead of, I don't know if his $8 is accurate, but after you do the math, maybe it is. Probably it is.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
So,
Yeah.
I think if you look at Exhibit A, how in the heck is our chief plan operator gonna afford to pay $888 a month for insurance?
Yeah,
That's ridiculous. You have to lump these guys together. I mean, Tommy's gonna take a little hit.
Tommy's a team player.
He's
Tommy's
fine with it.
single.
I think this is fair, I think this is a fair way to do it. So we have a motion and a second. Ready? Call the question.
Yes.
Yes?
No.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The vote was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yeses, 3 noes.
Who were the no's, John?
The noes were
Thompson?
Rudd.
Thompson, Rudd, and Farmer.
Thank you.
That's why I should have went to the HR committee before any of this.
Well, I
The
mean,
whole
I think
idea, John, the whole idea of this thing was to save money. You didn't save a dime.
not this year.
No. And you're not gonna next year either.
Well, yeah, probably will. Probably
I
will.
thought we had this argument already.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, no, this is, I mean, I'll vote,
But anyway,
I don't care if you go to committee, I'll vote yes again.
I think you're on your way, though, to be able
Yeah.
to capture a better thing for the district and be fair with the guys. You're on your
Okay, I
way.
think that you got in the middle of another.
No, that's fine.
Sorry about that. But anyway, is there any other questions for her? I think that, I think the employees should be happy with this.
I think, can we get a motion? Let's put everything in-house to Cindy, our property and casualty.
Okay.
I think you should have a motion on that.
Okay, we also carry a property casualty coverage through
League of Minnesota Cities, but she can handle that.
League of Minnesota Cities, but administered also by Solutions. Can we have a motion to transfer coverage or administration of our property and casualty to the same broker?
What would the involve for premiums, or is it like?
League of Minnesota Cities, it's part of
The
our,
wash?
part of our dues with League of Minnesota.
Oh, okay. I'll make a motion. to approve it.
All right, okay, motion, is there a second?
Motion was Blair?
Is there a second? Tom, thank you, Tom. Any other discussion?
We deal with everything from a broken windshield to a workman's comp with her. So you want it in one house, and it works.
Does it save money?
Doesn't cost anymore.
It's the same, it's a wash.
All right, ready to call a question? Doug?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I don't know if this is something I want to meet off with the HR board first, in addition to kind of discussing the additional services we can offer you on the property and casualty side, loss control, HR, we have an employment law hotline, we have some stuff. For that, I don't know who I would start with to start giving all that information to.
Probably John and Stacy.
Okay. Any other questions on the health insurance?
No, well, thank you very much for
Yeah.
showing up.
I think the next step will be to meet with the employees.
Yeah,
Meet with the
absolutely, and
employees. You can go through all the
Greg's here
information.
and
Okay,
Pat's.
okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for your visit. All right, I think, let's go to, Mark Allen, with the Smith and Nolte. Well, Mark, can we wait just a second here? We got some minutes to approve, and then we get to you, okay?
The second reading of the 2016 budget is over.
No, we're gonna bring it back up. We
Oh.
wanna get some of the legal, in case somebody, we all get sick or something, there was
Okay.
legal stuff. Okay. Okay, we were all, I had that right here a second ago. October 7th, that was a special meeting.
Are you on the minutes?
So we had some, yeah, you got, everybody had the chance to read the minutes. So they make a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of October 7th.
So moved.
Don,
I'll second.
Mike seconds. Any discussion? Ms. Wo- call the
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
That was a great handout.
I just had one question.
We already started.
I know, but you didn't give any chance for discussion, but, sorry. The director commented on the second page.
That one's only got
This
one
is
page
special
to it.
meeting, is only one.
Oh, special meeting, this is
Special
special
meeting,
meeting, okay.
October 7th, yeah.
I'm sorry, yes.
Yes, I vote yes. Okay, let's go to
Do that or?
MCU. Okay. Oh, man.
I didn't see that on the agenda.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now, let's look at the minutes of the regular meeting, September 21.
Make a motion to accept.
All right, Doug, your second.
Second.
Don. Okay, now,
Okay.
now,
Well, the director's comment is that he received a letter from Gritter trying to strike a deal with the district, and I don't ever remember seeing a letter like that. I don't know if we've got a copy of it.
I was gonna put that correspondence, but I forgot. I think we have the letter to Gritter, as ordered by me and worked with Boyle and Mark, and that letter went out, Mark. And we've gotten correspondence back from Gritter off and on, promising stuff. We still do not have a lien from Gritter for Peterson. And Mark will get into that when he spiels, but, so you know what you're gonna do there. But,
yeah, this was all about lien releases.
It was in the last packet. Last month, it was in the packet.
Yeah.
Along with the bylaws and Greg's letter, it was in your last packet.
Yeah. So, is there a question?
You have your last packet, or you want a copy of this, Steve?
No, I have it, but I don't have it with me.
Okay.
So,
If anybody needs a copy, we can get it to you.
okay. We can go ahead and vote then, Steve?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. All right, Mark? Please.
All right. I guess, right, last month I reported that like the Gritter Construction had sent a letter to the board regarding the bituminous pavement out at the full equalization basin. So I had, but at that time, Carl Bowman had not called me back. Later that day, he was able to go out to the site and meet with Greg Schneider, and they essentially reviewed what I had sent them in an email, being the photograph of the bituminous area that needed to be fixed. So Carl Bowman came back and provided a price to the district for repairing that bituminous, considerably less than the $4,000 that the Gritter Construction offered, because then he simply doesn't have to coordinate it and send somebody up here.
Mark, can you pass that picture around the guys so that they...
Okay, so, all right, so as I talked last month, they said you have to get that information. Right now, that is one of the items left on the punch list, and they say the contractor is offering a $4,000 credit, that you would reduce from his retainage, and then simply the district would take care of hiring your local contractor to mill and place the bituminous patch down there for something less than, half the cost that he's offering, in other words, under $2,000. So, based on that information, kind of like I talked last month, it is my recommendation that the board accept the offer of $4,000 from Gritter Construction, and then have a local contractor fix the bituminous there, using your project funds, that are being withheld from him from his retainage, because he is offering the $4,000 credit.
I think we approved that, didn't we approve that last
Yes.
meeting?
Well, no, because I did not, we talked about it, and I told you my recommendation would to accept it, but I had not heard from Carl Bowman. He, did not meet with me that morning, so I did not have a number, and then that email I got from Carl was the next day. So, John, we have now, for the last meeting, I've got that information from the local contractor that we can make the repairs for the amount or less than the general contractor offered. So, we have confirmed that, so you say now it's,
I thought we came up with $1,350 at the last meeting. Carl Brogan was gonna do the job plan. We had a price last meeting.
What do you have to talk to?
Where did they come up with this money that Carl was gonna charge?
it might have been at your special meeting, at the last board meeting, I had, that email from Carl the following day. Good, because Greg, he didn't meet with you
Till after the meeting.
till after the meeting.
David's right, it's in the minutes of the special meeting.
There wasn't, I thought there was like $1,300 and some dollars or.
$1,350 to mill and smooth EQ driveway.
Yeah, that was at the special meeting.
Yeah, Mike, like I said, just, Mike actually, Greg met with them just, the afternoon after your last month's meeting. I wasn't able to get, so, from the standpoint, then, the following day, I sent this email to Bowman Construction. They simply confirmed the number, because I wanted something in writing rather than trust his handshake, but, like you said, it was just a formality to take care of. So, so at this time, like I say, if, the board wishes to proceed with it, then I will notify Gritter Construction that the board will accept the proposal in his September 13th letter, and I will process the paperwork to reduce the, the retainage by that $4,000 amount.
Well, are we gonna act on that then, or what?
Well, that's a special meeting, because I know we talked about it, and you,
Or if
it's under in additions and deletions. Motion by Blair, second by Worth, to pay Bowman $1,350 to mill and smooth EQ driveway. Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't at the meeting, so thank you. You've taken care of it. So I will proceed on my end then to just finish the dotting the i's and crossing the t's with the general contractor.
But you did.
Thank you.
I remember something about it.
All right. And then, I say, in your packet too, Greg has got he called it punch list items, there's about 4 or 5 items on there. Was mentioned, one, I've sent Chopper 70 to 80 release of liens for this project. We are still waiting for the releases from one of his major subcontractors, that being Peterson out of Bemidji, Minnesota. They emailed me, they sent it up to the subcontractor last Monday. When I get it, then I will file that. We do have the consent of the surety for final payment. So, those are some items that we're looking to address as far as the paperwork. So I have one lien waiver yet to obtain from one of the major subcontractors. We'll wait till we get it, because part of your agreement with that general contractor was you would have all your lien waivers in place before final payment was made. So, and then staff has prepared an item here. A lot of these are, there's a couple of them that are punch list items. A lot of them are items that I'm still working with. One, we have the EQ valve that I'm working with Jeff Clow to figure out the wiring sequence in that valve to hook it up to the 4 to 20 signal that we do have available in PCS 7 out the full equalization basin. Number 2 is a punch list item, so I will be bringing that back to the general contractor. Number 3 is the one we just talked about, the roadway, the settling of the bituminous. So again, the punch list item that will be taken care of. Item 4, John Harris described a bunch of, essentially, when boiler 2 is the lead, 1 will come on as a lag, but when boiler 1 is the lead, 2 doesn't come on as a lag. So do have a item to work out with the controls between your contractor, General Heating out of Duluth, Minnesota, and then Scott Boston, who provided that. So working with them that. Item 5, we did pull the screen off the foot valve for pump P2. John did that, I believe, on the 17th. It's been out for about 7 days now, and the pump actually hasn't been dropping speed. It's not dropped out. Yesterday, when he was raking leads, it dropped out. We are going to have pellet welding a plate we can put down there just to cover it so we don't entrain air, but removing the foot valve seemed to be a major improvement on dropping that valve out. It took me forever to get from Valmatic out of Pennsylvania. We discussed it with them, but we've removed that foot valve, because essentially the foot valve is getting covered by the biological mass that comes off, that sloughs off your trickling filters, part of the operation. So it'll work fine without that screen on there, because you're taking secondary effluent. So we're working on that. Item 6, we do have the check valve ordered. I know you did that at your special meeting. Has not arrived yet, but when it does come, we'll get that in our line. Item 7, this storage tank. Right now, you've operated your tank for 2 winters, and there's, I'll call them, they're zinc anodes that are inside that tank that they're the sacrificial for corrosion, protects the reinforcing steel in the foundation. They've, there's about 2/3 have been eroded away. There's about 1/3 of their life left. So you'll go through your next, this winter here, 2006, next spring operation. And then part of the O&M on that tank is you're gonna have to look at those anodes every 3 to 4 years to replace those. So I do have a price coming from the American tank supplier that provided that tank, just so you can get a price and get it in your budget for 2017 for replacing those anodes in those. So once Greg gets that information. Part of that is when they replace those anodes for the first time, there's just a nut and a compression washer on the outside. They're gonna have to, you have that metal siding around that tank with 3 inches of insulation. They're gonna have to cut a small access port about 6 by 8 inches and then flash it. So they'll do that. It's not really, they say it's, once you go to replace those anodes for the first time, then they'll cut those accesses in that outside skin.
Mark,
Yep.
I'm sorry, that sounds like they should last longer than 2 years, something that.
Well, it's 3 years, right? Well, I guess that's, it's like cathodic protection in a water tower. I mean, it's, you're putting this steel in there, and that's what actually corrodes, rather than your tank base or your reinforcing steel. So it relates to your soils and also, the solids, the makeup, the chemistry of your solids in there. So You know, I guess I'm not a tank expert, so from the standpoint of how often you replace cathodic protection, you know, MnDOT does it on their bridges for corrosion. So, you know, what I can offer you is, you know, what we learned after the first 2 years of operation, that it's gonna be about a 3-year cycle that you'll be replacing those anodes. I mean, if you don't replace them, the tank will sit there for a decade, but I mean, you will start, you know, Mother Nature is gonna find a place to replace it's gonna find the reinforcing steel or someplace. So from the standpoint, it's a very, you know, we'll get it from Greg. I don't know if they're gonna be $300 an anode or what they will be, but if it's just pick a number, if it's, let's say it's 5, so it's $500 times 3 is $1,500. If that's every 3 years, well, it's $500 a year for maintenance on about a $500,000 investment. You know, that's what your tank cost you as part of this project.
The staff can't install.
Well, they probably can. I mean,
We can do the work.
yeah. I mean, like I say,
This is only to cut the hole so we can get in at them.
They'll probably replace them the first time, but then it's gonna be staffed from then on.
Yeah, but this, number 7 is just to cut a hole in the tank so we could get at, or the skin of the tank, so we can get at the,
Greg, I clarify,
Replace it.
because they're not actually cutting a hole in the tank. They're just cutting a hole in the 26 gauge metal liner on the outside. 'Cause
Right.
I got my attention when he said cut a port. I thought, we don't want to be cutting a hole in our brand new tank. And that's great. No, the rod already goes through the tank wall, and there's a nut on each side with a compression washer in between. That's what seals it. Well, there's no way to get to that nut on the outside until you cut the small hole in the siding and then put a socket on there and take the nut off.
How many anodes are there?
There's 3.
Only 3 on the whole tank?
Yeah, there's 3 on the whole tank, so.
And we have how many that are failing now?
Well, they're not, well,
30%, right?
all 3 of them, they have a useful life, and like I say, the anode is zinc and they're corroding away, so that material is, going into the wastewater, and like I say, it looks like about a 3-year period is what, we're finding out will be the life of, the 3 anodes.
Okay.
Um, And then number 8, I have the, Greg wants various computers, so I have, working with Jay Clow at Automatic Systems, the big one. Big thing John said too, the 2 control, volume 1 and volume 2 are over 600 pages each. And so what we're gonna try to do is also get a PDF copy, because nowadays with software, like if you can search for a word or a fuse number, and then it'll tell you right what page is it on, rather than spending several minutes, trying to page through, let's say tab 3, which might be, 188 pages long. So it's also a request I have into Quality Flow Systems, is getting an electronic PDF copy, so you can search for a word or a fuse number or a drawing much quicker than actually paging through all the volumes. John pointed out that when Ashbrook Simon Hartley was here this spring, the final changes on the gravity belt thickener. He needs an updated electrical print, so I'm working with Ashbrook Simon Hartley on that. Number 10, Greg says we've looked through our 25+ O&M manuals and we found nothing for the raw water pumps down there, so that's Northwest Power and Equipment. So I'll be talking with Terry to get that on. And then still, number 11 is we're working on the 14 inches of water pressure on the pressure relief for the gas system that we need to verify with, it's with the V. Barco, as far as the what pressure we can increase that to. And then number 12, I guess they didn't get a test kit for the gas monitors, and this is just your, in the preliminary treatment building. So I'm gonna be checking with Peterson on if the test kit for that. Just Jeff Clows reported that out at the South Ponds, they've been losing, the valve won't switch back, so I have talked with Pete Nelson with IPS out of Boston, Minnesota. He is gonna come up here. They think, he thinks he knows that what they're gonna need out there is just a small IQ backup unit. And when I say that, it might be about $150, but it's something though that when power switches out there, staff doesn't have to run out there and shut the power off and reboot it, because they've done that now 5-6 times this year to reboot that. And then Jeff Call on the, with Lakeside and number 14, we're working on the Train B, is he's running about 2 amps over the torque alarm condition, you know, like I say, the motor is running about 0.2 amps higher than what's on the nameplate. So I'm working with Don Sims at Lakeside to determine if we have to adjust something with our primary clarifier. So of these items, you know, most of our items, again, this was a multi-million-dollar project. We're working out some of the finer items here at the end. You know, only 3 of these are really truly punch list items with Gritter. Others are stuff I'm working on with vendors and manufacturers to get additional information for the staff.
You got Jeff working on a lot of these, especially number 1 and number 8. When you say Jeff is working on them,
Well,
are we getting compensated for Jeff's time to work on these, or?
well, I apologize. When I say work, you know, he went out and just met with me. We went out there for about 15 minutes and he showed me.
No, that's all right,
Yeah.
but number 1, you said, needs to be wired and completed, and Jeff is working on trying to figure this out.
Okay. Well, let's say, well, Jeff was working with me. I mean, last month, I went out with Jeff, and we took some of the nameplates out the EMS, that's the manufacturer of your old 3-way control valve out there. So when I say Jeff, you know, he went out and met with me, and then, you know, so I got the
But the contractor is being, or the person that manufactured it is.
Well, this valve is from literally 20 years ago, when it was installed as part of that. Now, part of it is when we did this project, you know, it never got in the drawings to hook it back up, okay? So that's what I'm working with on. We had automatic systems set up in PS7, the 4 to 20 signal, to send a signal out to that valve, but it was never, we ran the wire, but, you know, I've got to work with staff, figuring out how we got to get this wired up to PCS7. And like I said, if we have to hire a local contractor to make the correct connections, you know, the wires are run. We just have to determine which terminals to actually hook them on to make the programming work on that 20-plus-year-old controller on that bypass valve.
So that's legal, that's not Gritter's problem.
That's not Gritter, no.
Nothing to do with Gritter.
Nothing to do with Gritter.
I mean, so actually on the punch list, this is not Gritter's problem.
No.
I don't understand.
Yep.
We're not, everything isn't all Gritter's fault here.
No, this is normal stuff.
Yeah.
All right, anything else, Mark?
No, they say, so just from the standpoint, I'm expecting them to have the release of lien and other information back, you know, I'm anticipating that, so at your November meeting, I should have then, you know, the final information from Gritter Construction, so we can then, if the board wishes, we can take action on their final payment application. Provided they have the information in
Any
place.
more questions, David?
At number 11, that waste gas burner,
Yep.
is that part of Ritter's problem?
No, that's it. It's, in working, we have, very truly, Larry Van Hout from our Alex office needs to work with Barrick, simply between 12 inches and 14 inches. Right now, what staff is explaining, when they're trying to burn, we need to increase the pressure from probably about 14 inches of water column on the digesters, so we can feed out to the burner and not have other issues. And we have to verify with VARC, you know, the installation that the digester systems and everything can work at that 14 inches of water column. So.
Okay, any other questions?
All right, and Gritter is working with you cordially, or are they?
Well, yes, they're working for, just, not, as Chopper is not very responsive, like you say. I mean, we've been asking for stuff for months, in email, so, but it's, you know, I asked for like the 3rd or 4th time, where is the release of lien from Peterson? You know, I knew the board, you know, I sent out an email again last week, and then they responded back, well, we sent it out Monday.
We've dealt with 2 major procrastinators in this job.
So, just like I say, so I mean, we've been asking since August, and they, you know, and then I get a response back, well, okay, we finally sent it out Monday of last week. Well, okay, that's fine, well, then get it to me when you get it to me, and then I'll address the board once I get that information.
They're not gonna get paid until they get it to you, so it's to their benefit to get it
To
to
their
you.
benefit to get it. Yep.
Well, so Mark, you're gonna keep on this then till things are wrapped up, huh?
Yep.
Okay,
So, well, I'm saying, hopefully we'll wrap up with Gritter towards the end of next month, so we'll see.
all right, thank you. So let's go to, we're gonna pay some bills here. Disbursements.
Any questions on disbursements, Mr. Chairman? You can see that on page 2, Mountain Company, that's a real reasonable price. And they did a great job. Greg, yeah.
I have one question on that electric pump on lift station 1. 14,000, whatever it is.
Yes.
Okay. Why is it North Kooch is paying for that?
It's our station.
We just got done last month or so discussing 1, 8, and 7.
And 1 and 2 South Falls.
And we just talked, it's in one of the minutes here, that we turned down, here it is right here. Motion on taking total ownership of lift stations 1, 7, and 8, and it was turned down.
That was just the paying the electricity for the pump. We maintained the.
Total ownership to me means you own it. It doesn't mean you just pay the light bill.
We've been paying the maintenance on that since it was put in. I don't know, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but.
In the
Well, that's-
grants, we received federal grants and state grants for those lift stations in this last grant application, which is North Kooch. It's all in the name of North Kooch. Now, lift station 8, I remember we sat at this, you guys weren't on this board, but to get an easement and at lift station 8 to increase our easement there. And that was done in the name of North Kooch. So obviously, legal ownership of that easement is
But
in the name
no,
of North
John, I mean,
Kooch.
I agree with everything you're
Right,
saying.
right.
I agree, but all I'm saying is we just made a motion not to do something, and we had total ownership of it.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't.
Then how can we motion to take, if we own it, how can we not pay the bill?
Well, that was the
Then
point of our.
somebody better rescind
that was
this
the point
motion,
of our
change it.
committee, that our committee looked into that, and that was the point of our committee. Like I said, I could vote either way, but logical, it's not logical for them to pay the electricity. If we own it, and everybody agrees that the effluent has to go through there in order to get to us, we should pay the electricity, but we voted against it.
Yeah.
No, I understand what you're saying, Tom, but what I don't understand is motion on taking total ownership of lift stations, okay? And it was turned down. So that's telling me that
Well,
we didn't take
Yeah,
total
the
ownership.
committee recommended that we take ownership and including paying the electricity bill. The full board voted against that motion, voted that motion down, so, but we're paying bills right now, so,
I wasn't here for that meeting,
Yeah.
but, like I say.
I think we got that-
There's no logical reason why that should happen.
that issue is not settled, I don't think. So, how about any other questions on the,
Well,
On
I'd
the
just like to
bills.
make a comment on that. That was the electrical that we discussed, and that was gonna add $10,000 more to North Kooch's cost. And I felt we're not absorbing any more of East Kooch's and Rainier's costs. So it was the electrical that we were talking about. And I think in the past we have.
but those aren't all the facts in the case, so either. So I think we should take this up later.
Mhm.
I think you're gonna, because of, and John, you hit on it, there's some legal ramifications. And I think you might have to call Boyle, and he knows about it,
Yeah, maybe it will be a legal issue.
but you can talk about that later.
Yeah, yeah. All right, questions on the bills here, disbursements? I don't see anything out of order. Somebody want to
I do have a question. I don't see any costs for the camera system at the ponds, is that?
I haven't looked up it yet, Steve, I
Okay.
just, yeah, thank you, but no, you know, this, you can get it from $200 to $1,000, $1,500.
Okay, Don, you want,
So move to approve the
All right.
disbursements.
is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
Who second, Doug?
Doug, yeah. Any other discussion? No? Call for the question.
Yes.
Yes?
I vote yes. No.
Yes.
Yes.
I vote yes. All right,
Then you have the rest of your final, your income expense budget actual and your income expense previous year. We're down on income, of course, you know, that's PFA stuff too. Which we're running off. By the way, we have $789,000 left, of which $22,000 is a TMDL grant, and I hope Mark can find a way to use that. I hate to leave that money on the table, because you're not, you don't have to pay it.
that's grant money, that 22,000?
This looks like on the amortization that she has 22,000 left on the TMDL. We'll talk about it and analyze it a little bit better.
How about the TMDL, like some of that pumping problem, like with the valve, that one valve that these guys are gonna install, and the recirc pumping?
No,
That's necessary to the filter project, right? And that's TMDL.
No, that's really just for train B, John, so, I mean, not that, I'll say Nancy Johnson and the PFA are, micromanaging, but, we have to, it has to be related to the phosphorus mercury removal specific, and that would be the filter operation. So, yes, on the $1,500 for the check valve, that's absolutely, because we're pumping up, for the filter phosphorus removal, so.
Yeah, I guess this is always a government conundrum. We have grant money available, but
Leave it on the table.
we might have to give it back, which is,
And the only thing I don't know, Chopper, is, typically on this project, the TMDL was running about 23%. All right, I'm anticipating on your final retainage release of $75,000, 23% of that would be eligible then for the TMDL. So, like, whatever, let's see, 10% would be 50, be about $16,000. So we should be able to we should be able to take a major hunk out of that 22,000 with the retainage release. So then we'll put that $1,500 valve in there. So, I'm just thinking, Chopper, that's probably why there's some left, because of that retainage release, 23% of that can be allocated towards the TMDL funding.
And then that burden doesn't go on the user.
Yep, that's through the grant dollars, so. Well, thanks for bringing that up, we'll just make sure when we do the final payment application, we make sure we get that in there.
Stacy and I talked about it yesterday, and
Yep.
it seemed like an important item.
okay,
Do you
how did
have
we
a
get?
line item for that, John? What are you talking about? Where's the line item number?
On that issue, there isn't.
No, that's part of the grant, part of the project. Where were we?
Just
Somebody remind
any
me.
questions, like I say, income is evident because of PFA non-payments, and then of course your bottom line is, you're down $1,100,000, but that's just indication of operations versus income, and income is based on a lot of PFA money, so. It's nothing major, it's
Okay,
just
how about the,
anticipated.
Financial report here, the savings, investments, anybody look at that?
Well, in the budget, 2016 budget, under the income, number 900 interest, in 2015 it was 14,000, and we're budgeting 3,000, and I don't understand that. Interest income.
Well, it all depends on how much money you got in the bank and what the interest rates are, so I don't know, I can't speak to that
We
at all.
just took, we tried to be as conservative as we could. If it's over that, it's, you know, good, but, I know I budgeted 14, I don't know, what did we, about collecting interest last year? Not much.
What do we get nowadays, 0.25% everybody on your
I
savings?
think we had 0.85 at one time.
The highest we can get now is a total percent, and
That's huge.
that's huge.
Wow. Times change.
But yeah, Steve, it's just a guess.
All right, can we have a vote on the, do we need a vote on the,
Yeah.
okay, on the financial statements?
Yep.
So move to approve the financial report.
Is there a second? Come on, second, come on. All right, any other questions? Call for the question, Doug.
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
I vote yes.
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 No.
Yes. Okay, so if it's okay, should we, finish up the rest of our business here and, then we can take up that, Don, that, the budget at the end here? Is that okay with you?
Fine with me.
Okay. I want to keep you happy.
I don't know why.
Nobody
I'm
else.
trying,
My God.
I'm trying. Okay, okay, we did the punch list, on old business, we did punch list items.
Yep.
Okay, we have a set of, under old business, a letter to Jeff Herbert at Chase, a letter from Jeff Herbert.
Yeah, just correspondence as requested by the group, and Mr. Herberg has rectified the situation and is aware of his consequences, and he's ready to do business next year. So.
There's no action needs to be taken by the board on
No,
this.
yeah, you better on motion, because you accepted an amount of money,
What was it?
3,000.
Okay,
So move to accept the letter.
And the result,
And the result.
I'll second it.
okay. Motion second, any other comments, questions? Call for the question.
Yes.
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 Everybody said,
MCU?
okay. Operators report.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, just a few things that took place this last month. That 20 horsepower pump for lift station 1, we got that installed. And the old pump we have for a spare now, so we're in pretty good shape as far as spare pumps for all the lift stations up the lake. We spent a little bit of time doing some maintenance in East Kooch this month. One of them was at lift station 3. We had to replace the rails and a bracket system in there that holds the rails to the wall was in pretty rough shape, so we had to have Pell and Welding weld us up a new bracket system, and we got that taken care of. So we still continue to do maintenance up the lake as we can with the staff that we got right now. This month's a little short-handed, guys are taking vacation, and so we continue to do what we can when things come up. Also on a daily basis, we're doing gopher locates up there too, which takes a little time. And besides staying on top of the plant and daily operations at the plant. On that punch list item, them were concerns that we had that we put on there. I know not all of them are gritters problems, but them were items that we're concerned about yet. And another thing is, when Engineering America, they did come up and do this inspection on the tank, and we were in there and we did look at those anodes and stuff, and it just kind of melted right down. I mean, they're definitely going to need to be replaced next year. Like you said, there's only about 30% left on them, so it was a good thing for us to wash the tank down and get everything drained so we can have a good inspection on the tank and know what shape we're in. Also, right now, we're also cleaning clarifiers, dropping clarifiers, recirculation, wet wells, the chlorine contact tank down there. We're dropping them, washing them down, kind of getting things ready for winter. As of October 31st will be our last day to chlorinate, and we won't start chlorinating until spring again, so we'll be shutting down our chlorination system as of November 1st. Also, that valve that we talked about on the list there, that is ordered. As soon as it comes, we will get that in. We can drop that pump station down there and get that installed ourselves. It shouldn't be too bad to put that in. Next Monday, John Henry Foster will be here to service the air compressors in the filter building, and we'll assist him with that and go through that with them. That'll be like at the 8,000 hour mark. Takes about 2 years to get that. Them compressors have a 10-year warranty on it, so we felt that it'd be a good idea to have them come service them. We'll go through it with them, changing oil, all the filters, and we'll probably learn quite a bit from them guys when they come to service that. It'd probably be, it's a good idea. And also, we did meet all our effluent requirements this month. And like I say, that other sheet there, though, there's items on there that are concerns to us. We all sat down together and come up with them items that we felt need to be addressed and taken care of, and hopefully slowly but surely we'll get that taken care of, each one. And like that one valve at EQ, as far as Jeff, right now we're just looking in to see how to wire it. He's not positive how to get that wired, and that's why he's working with Mark to find out from the manufacturer of the valve how we wire that exactly to get that back so that operates from the plant. So it's just, concerns like that we have. And otherwise, we just have normal daily duties that we take care of at the plant. Every day, everybody's kind of got a routine they go through. They check the plant out, pumps, clarifiers, the filters, make sure everything's operating properly. And like I say, it's just right now pretty much daily routine maintenance and getting ready for winter.
Okay, thank you.
That's all.
You mentioned you're shutting the chlorine down, is that?
That's part of our permit. We do not have to chlorinate
Why is that?
as of November 1st. Well, because one thing is, this is the time of year it's coming, people aren't using the water as much, the water, receiving water, swimming, boating, fishing, things like that. That's why we do not have to chlorinate in the winter. But during the busy times of the summer and stuff, that's when you have to chlorinate and dechlorinate.
Another question, on last winter, the East Kooch had some major freeze-up issues, and I don't know what was done
Last
to
winter, I don't believe,
rectify that.
Winter before.
Was it winter before?
winter before, it was pretty cold. That real cold winter?
Did they put inline heat trace on some of these sites, or?
We replaced, actually up in that area where the problems were, we did not do anything further on that yet.
We changed the heat tape on Birch Point.
Birch Point, we did that, yes, that was changed. But as far as the Jackfish project,
We have East Kooch that just ordered a bunch of heat tapes, and we will be working on that in the near future.
in the old East Kooch, we are gonna replace heat tapes in the old East Kooch that are failing on
This
us.
was on County Road 134 up at the end there, and it was part of the problem was that homeowners were plowing the snow where the lines.
Well, last one, we didn't have no trouble.
Yeah.
I cannot see where this has any bearing on North Kooch.
No.
I had the question posed to me, and I just wanted to know if anything was done.
Oh, it's personal.
Yeah, David.
Greg, if this problem that you're having with that pump on the wiring happens in the future and Mark isn't here, how are you gonna solve it?
Well, once we know how to hook it up with the diagram, the wiring diagram from the manufacturer, it should be good to go. We shouldn't have that trouble. Once it's wired in, that valve should work when we put the set points in, what we want that valve to open at.
No, I understand, but what I'm saying.
Well, maybe we can
If
get,
you have a problem like this again next year and Mark isn't sitting here to help you, how are you going to solve it?
They'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, or get a hold of the manufacturer, or,
Good at.
okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, that's the way a lot of this stuff goes, though, you know, you can't hire somebody from 300 miles away.
You must have people right here
Yeah.
in the audience that can handle it. Well, I mean, I'm not knocking the thing, Mark, but Chopper should be able to call these manufacturers and get all these books on it,
Well,
and get advice.
we're probably more
That's all
familiar
I'm
with it.
saying.
These guys are pretty handy. I mean, they
Yeah.
can tear a small
Yeah,
motor
they'll
down
figure
in
it
a
out.
bunch, so.
Say, I got one question. Now, like, when you guys get real busy, like, especially in the summertime, with locates, I mean, you guys, I'm sure you've looked into contractors. I mean, some people are using contractors
Yeah.
to do locates. Now, would you have to contract with someone totally, or just, I mean, if you get real busy, could you just call a contractor and tell them
to go do
under
that.
one special project, if there's a big project going on and there's a lot of locates to do, could you call the contractor and say, okay, we want you to come and do the locates for this specific project, you know?
That's going on. We've never really looked into that. We just go take care of it and do the locates. I mean, we're all getting familiar where the lines and the valves and stuff are up there.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to have somebody give them all the maps and,
Right, right.
you know,
So,
all the prints and
probably
start
not
learning it
worth
all from
yeah.
scratch.
Not worth it.
I think if there was a major.
I don't
issue,
think so.
100 locates, that's East Kooch's business. They'd, you know,
Yeah.
they'd have to bring a contractor on that.
And I have a problem with that, because I know when I issue a building permit, I scan the copy and I send it over here for Don's signature. And Don puts notes on it and sends it back to me. Are these notes relayed to the homeowner? I don't think it's my responsibility to contact the homeowner and say, well, you have to watch out for this and this. I think it's East Kooch's responsibility to.
Well, if our lines are up there and we take care of them lines, we gotta mark all our sewer laterals and the lines that belong to us. Anything from the house to a station is the homeowner's responsibility. But anything beyond that is our responsibility.
That can become a problem because the homeowners don't pay any attention to where their lines are.
Exactly.
I just noticed the comment on the last one that I received, and Don's response was, there's a 15-foot easement over this line, period.
I
Okay.
shared that with the homeowner, we discussed it.
Okay, good, that's all I wanna know, because I didn't know if I didn't have a number for the contractor, so I didn't know if I had to.
The homeowner called and I told him, whether he told the contractor.
Okay. Well, if
But
there-
still, that's a weak point in the whole operation there, is because sometimes the homeowners don't know where their line goes, right?
No.
So,
Sometimes we open a canister lid, look and see where their invert's coming in and kind of give them a general idea what way it's running.
right.
Within 15 feet.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. All right, thank you, Greg. Director's report.
Real quick, Mr. Chairman. Working staff finishing the budget for your second reading, which we'll be discussing later. Letters to entities have been sent, have been received. Working with Mark and Boyle on the project completion and looking forward to that. Guys have been working real hard, good staff meetings. Stacy's on top of things. She's doing very good. Greg is doing excellent. I mean, very good, excellent, both of them. Attended East Kooch meeting and then just personal work. That's all I have.
Okay, any questions for the director?
I just like to ask how many hours a week you work now, or you just, has it been slowing down?
You know, you can make it as slow as you want. If I looked at the clock and said, I'm getting close to my 3 or 4 hours that I'm gonna work this week on this particular day, somebody comes in, phone call happens, Stacy needs something, it goes over, but 5th through the 9th, I had 24 hours. Last week I had 15.5. This week I'm gonna try to keep it around 12 to 15. You can do it, but again, there's contingencies that happen, and you gotta take care of them as long as you're here. And when I do go, I usually get a call from one of these guys, and we can do it over the phone. I usually don't have to come in. So. But yeah, Steve, I'm
12
trying to get it
hours
down.
12 hours would be a kind of a ballpark starting.
Okay. New business,
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I asked you to put this on the agenda. You want me to carry it a little bit? I told the board over the years that we're finally gonna get our hands on the budget, especially in regard to the debt service that we charge the entities. And, you know, rightfully, as David has pointed out many times, $75,000 for debt service to the city, you know. But they were based on unknowns, and I couldn't quantify what that number was exactly, but I told you I would be able to, and now with Greg and Stacy, we're able to. We are gonna substantially, in 2016, reduce what the entities will have to pay strictly for the debt service, and the debt service, again, is based on a number of 90,000 potential increase in chemicals and electricity, based on a firm 50 cent per thousand, which is usually gonna run for capital improvement, which is usually gonna run 205,000. And then the amortization itself, which is paid in 2 installments, interest and principal, February and August. I feel we can lower the Falls debt service to about 55,000, East Kooch to about 6,300, and Rainier about $750. Substantial decreases, and I'd like your okay on that if you would like to start saving money in 15 for the entities, and I'll send out a letter.
so I still don't get it.
Flows,
Hmm?
flows are lower, so you think you don't
No,
have to charge the
flows
entity?
flows aren't lower. The reason for the little bit, the reason for the substantial bigger debt service request from North Kooch, the entities, was based on a figure that we thought we were gonna have to pay over and above the debt service and the capital improvement. That number's smaller.
Right, I get that.
It's money that we thought we had to pay, but we don't have to pay.
Right. Yeah, I get that, but how it's being charged out, that's the thing. But we'll talk about that in the budget discussion, right? No, that's very understandable, I understand that part of it, that, the debt service isn't gonna be quite as much as we thought it might be, which is a credit to someone.
Does it mean if we charge the entities less, they're in turn gonna charge the consumers less?
That's not my call.
Okay.
Certainly so.
Probably, that's the way it would work, should work.
All our goal is, we have to pay $451,000 for the loan. We have to pay 200,000 plus for capital improvement, and we need to supplement a little income for the additional operations and maintenance for the plant. That number could probably be tweaked down the road, I don't know, but 90,000, just looking at the increase with the ferric and electricity and other things.
Yeah, it'll be.
What, I
Okay.
probably should know this, but the loan, how long is that? We have to pay that, 450,000?
30, it was a 30-year.
25
25
and a half years.
I've got it here somewhere, yeah, I think Robert's right, amortization to,
It was 25 and 3/4 when we figured out that.
That's from the beginning of, or from now? From now.
Through 2041.
yeah.
That never fluctuates, it's always a
That's,
450.
next year, it'll probably be less,
Okay.
because you have a sunset on what you're holding. You haven't spent that yet, but I don't know what'll happen when that does, all money goes away. But I do believe that it is just based on what you've already borrowed, so, but it will fluctuate a little bit. Be like, maybe 4 years it might go up, about $5,000, but then it'll drop off.
How about the $200,000 per year of capital escrow or whatever, we're required, how long is that?
Life of the project.
For the loan.
Life of the and it's yours.
Huh?
It's your money.
Yeah.
Right, I know, and life of the project, but
Life of the loan?
life of the.
What is,
or life of the
what it's
loan.
probably gonna be, you're gonna probably have about $6 to $8 million when the 86 trains up due, so. Which is about what it'll take.
Well,
And the way the guys are, and, you know, how many years did you guys keep the 1950s plan alive? Way over its lifetime.
I predict PFA will forget all about us after a few years, but.
Government never forgets.
All right, League of Minnesota Cities renewal, that's a yearly renewal, dues. That's in, new business, LMC renewal. I got.
Yes, that's, we have to do that. That, you already gave us the okay that Cindy's gonna handle all that.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so that's taken care of.
That's taken care of.
All right. Now, we had, it's not here, I thought it was gonna be on the agenda, but meeting days. Now, we discussed it, were you here, Tom? When we discussed that maybe Tuesday would be a better day to have a meeting because weekends and holidays and things like that that fall on, you know, Mondays.
Yeah, we talked about that.
But what does the board feel about that? And I know Stacy,
Well, East Kooch was Wednesdays, and having a Tuesday would maybe kind of cause back overload here. I don't know.
yeah, I don't see how that
I think it's at the
should be
chairman's
that, I mean,
discretion.
actually, give her an extra day.
That's your decision.
That's chairman's
John.
discretion.
Call on
Yeah.
Tuesday.
What's that?
That's your decision. If you wanna change the meetings to Tuesday,
Well,
that's
it's
your.
what the board feels, would be good, you know. Yeah, I think that, I mean, I would personally think that it'd be a better day, Tuesday.
Stacy, if we change the meeting, our North Kooch meeting dates to Tuesday, it'll give you an extra day. Is that gonna help you, or is that gonna cause it?
Well, I have an East Kooch tomorrow, but it's,
Yeah.
I'm working it, it's okay.
Yeah, okay, I mean,
But it's in the enabling legislation, so you need a resolution, you need
That's
to
true.
do it the proper way
The
to
day
change
of-
your meeting date.
yeah, well, I mean, if nobody's,
I would say keep it on Monday.
oh boy, are we gonna fight over this one too?
Why don't we just put it on a trial for 6 months or something, that if the Tuesdays don't work, go back to Mondays, or whatever day.
I go with what Mike says, I think you can just designate that.
Yeah, well, okay, it works out better, it works out okay for you. I mean, I'm retired, but some of you guys, not too many of you are still working.
Tuesday.
Yeah, well, okay, then we'll call for next Tuesday, then 8 o'clock in the morning.
I don't have any objections to Tuesday over Monday, so.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I gotta think,
I mean, if you're officially gonna change it, you gotta go all that rigmarole, but it's discretion.
Right.
Everyone's discretion.
Yeah.
Right, it's gonna have to be posted until we declare it, regular meetings on Tuesdays, and it's a predictable thing.
Mhm.
Then you don't have to advertise it, like,
I know lots of times I go someplace, I gotta come back Sunday night because meeting's
Yeah.
on Monday, otherwise I gotta come back Monday. That's just because I'm retired, but,
yeah,
it might be all right.
yeah, okay. All right, lukewarm approval for Tuesday meetings. All right.
So the next meeting is November 17th.
Yeah, don't tell me that's a holiday. 16th is a holiday, or Monday.
What holiday is it?
No, 17th's no holiday.
Holiday.
Veterans Day is the 11th.
16th. What is it?
I don't think it's really Revolution Day or something.
Oh, okay, well, anyway, next, November 17th. Huh?
Well, we don't wanna have a meeting on Revolution Day.
That November
Revolution.
Okay, so, We go back to the budget?
Yeah.
I didn't see that check from Kooch deposited. Has it been issued yet?
We have it, it'll be on next month's, I mean, you want,
No, I just wondered, didn't see it in here where he had paid his penalty or whatever you guys come up with, and I didn't see it anywhere in our paperwork.
It's just a deposit and it won't show up till next month.
Oh, okay.
I had a question on, the HRA line item 484, and the budget is for 4,800.
that'll be reduced.
I thought employees are allowed up to 6,000 a year.
No.
No.
6,000 a year, it's $100 a month.
That's what they're allowed HRA?
Not
They-
6,000 a year.
They can bank it up to 6,000, maybe that's what it is?
Yeah, that's what I would,
Okay. Capped at 6,000.
5 years at $1,200 a year, $6,000.
All right, okay, one thing that now that we've made our previous, passed our previous resolution, shouldn't that 13 whatever be added into expenses for 2016?
What 13, John?
You mean
Severance.
1350?
Severance.
That's this year. That's this year's budget.
Well, I don't have the exact number right in front of me.
It's on this year's budget, it won't, it'll be reflected. It's in 15's budget.
It's what?
It's in 15's budget. It's effective today.
2015.
So it's not on the 16 budget, you won't see that.
What was payable in 2016?
No, payable is 2015.
I didn't see that.
No, it's in the agreement.
Because it's after the
Date
term
is-
of employment ends, isn't it? Isn't that how you get your severance?
Mr. Shimon said that on the day that it's dated, it's, what I would like would be, should be done. And the 2015 budget can absorb that payment.
Okay. Anybody else read that?
Yeah, it doesn't say we're gonna pay them. Just says you're gonna pay them.
It was the date of October 15th, today's date, effective December 31st.
Yeah. So that's when you pay them. December
That's
31st.
my term of employment is to December 31st, 2015.
And that's when they should pay you, Chopper, when you finish your employment, not before.
And my request is to be paid, be paid now. And I think it's right.
What do you mean by now? Today?
December 31st.
That's when you guys want to pay me, December 31st? Okay.
Is all of you?
In the contract, it's fine, yeah.
Okay,
So it'll still be in the 2015 budget. And the 2015 budget again can absorb it.
okay, all right, the budget, we're on the budget.
One question. Why did East Kooch services for construction services, whatever you want to call it, go up so much? Went from 93,000 to 140.
Based on 5 people, and at this time we have 4 people, but, and we've explained that with Don, we've explained it with East Kooch. They know they'd have to pay that much if they had contracted workers, and they feel that this is good insurance for them because our guys react so quick. And the district does well.
No,
But it was anticipation, we raised it with another worker. And we don't have another worker. Don,
so then it won't be $140,000.
yes, Don, they've agreed to it, even,
Well, they're gonna pay $140,000 next year instead of 93?
yes.
Oh, all right.
I thought they were already paying 140.
What did we, this is what the actual was last year.
Weren't you,
It might be up to 140, but
Yeah,
And you
that's right,
raised it.
the 2015, because we had anticipated the fifth guy. So you're right, 2015 budget was at 140,000.
That's not a lump sum.
No, it's every
No.
month, but I mean, so in other words, they're paying $140,000 this year
It was next year, last year too.
last year,
and 14.
Yeah, 15.
No, well, that's this year.
Yeah.
Yeah? So they're paying $140,000 in 2015. Well, that's what somebody just told me.
that's what I was looking at, understanding, 2015, they're paying 140. That takes care of one employee and half the state
Yes.
wages, right?
The 93,684 is what we had when we did an agreement in 2014. Then we hired another employee, we asked, because there was some work being done up there, we asked East Kooch to assimilate that cost, and they
they
agreed.
are paying $140,628 in this particular year.
And so, but then I told Don, we had a meeting, and he's, for insurance purposes, and to know that they've got good coverage, it's worth it to them.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows what that 140 covers.
What's that?
Your sheet is
Well, that's something that we should.
You got 2015, East Coast Service is 93,684. It should be
Rick can
140.
explain that. How we figure that.
But that agreement was probably done, what, quarter way through the 2015 year?
She said that's what they
Yeah.
I know how we used to do it, but I don't know how they do it now.
$11,719 a month. East Kooch pays North Kooch for administrative assistant, truck and equipment, office overhead, and maintenance.
what that 140 covers.
She just said that, what it covers, so.
Yeah, so we have an idea.
Mike, she just said what it covers.
What does it cover? Say it again, Stacy, I didn't hear you.
Administrative assistant, truck equipment, office overhead, and maintenance. $11,719 total.
Yeah, how do you determine that for the months of October, November, December, when it hasn't happened?
Well, it's
Well,
breaks
that's not
out.
affluent, that's just contracted services. Affluent is a whole separate bill.
But what if they don't do anything in November and December up there for East Cooch? How can you charge them?
Well,
We're
we
still-
charge them, and then anything over 85 hours is an additional $57.20 per hour. They get
Should have
up
been
to,
explained, so this number is wrong then, is what I'm saying.
No, it's not
that
wrong.
number is correct. 2015
That was
budget
the
is
agreement,
low.
and then they pay it by the month, so you divide that by 12, that's what the $11,000 is. Then they pay monthly. If they go over 85 hours per the agreement, they have to pay $57.20 per
Okay, so
piece.
it costs more to them.
At times,
So it no longer is 140,000.
it is
Okay,
unless.
Okay.
Unless.
Okay?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Mike and I have been talking about this, at a next meeting, they put on the agenda and give the staff a chance, but we'd like a review on how East Cooch, like how Greg does it, keep track of how many times employees go out there and keep track of their time and stuff like that. And then the charges for East Cooch, because I think it should be reviewed. I remember how we used to do it.
Yeah,
But we'd like to have it reviewed.
right. I think, we used to keep a log sheet,
I know.
in total? And so can you just maybe bring in next meeting and show?
All right, I'll just give the staff a little time to go
Okay.
over it. But it's never been explained for a long time, so.
Yeah, right,
and
right.
You guys haven't never had it, and so.
Broke out.
Yeah.
But then I broke it out on the side order, so you can see the comparison.
Well, I had a problem with the methodology of the whole operation here. Do we have a number for what each entity is paying per 1,000 gallons over and above the 205 per 1,000, which was our original rate before debt service added in and additional O&M costs?
Well, yeah, I mean, International Falls is dumping in 343,219,097 gallons divided by 1,000 and then multiplied by 205 is 703,599.
Well, using the old methodology that we used to use, all the expenses, divide that into total gallons, comes out to $4.29 a 1,000 gallons for each, should be for each entity.
Let's see that.
Hmm?
I don't see that.
Wow.
Where'd you get that number from?
Well, I just, what I did is took the total expenses, took the total gallons, and divided that by the total,
Okay.
total gallons.
But our process.
Is this in that board one, 2016 you're looking at? Is that the one that you're?
Well, I don't know what we got here, I
The
did it.
numbers are identical, it's just that you have, they're condensed in the board side. That's all.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, see, but Stacy, if you take the board side and you divide that number by the gallons, it comes up to $3.99 per 1,000. And the reason why it's that way is you haven't got the water plant and the treatment surcharge added into it. When you add all of them together, then you come up to the $2.05 a gallon. So prior to that, if you take it over here, it goes to $3.99.
Yeah,
a thousand,
like that,
not a gallon.
So that's the real number,
Just explain
that's the
that.
real number we're dealing with, you know? It's no longer, we can no longer say 205, it's 399.
Well, no, but the number they're using over here on the director's side that they're dividing into is 703,599.
Right, right,
The
right.
one on the board side is 1,369,979.
Right.
Them numbers also include the numbers that are under the director's side, 13,500 and 652,850. When you add all them up, they come up to the same number, 1,399,979. And when you divide that, then it's wrong. Because you're not dividing the treatment into the total, because you're adding surcharge and everything else on one side, the other side you're not.
Right, right.
You're taking, if you take the surcharge away and the water treatment plant away, you end up from 13,1,369, you end up with 703. And then you divide that by the gallons, and it comes out to $2.05. It does come out to $2.05.
Correct, because
Thank
you're
you.
not adding in your water or your treatment surcharge,
Yeah.
correct?
You see, if you look on that column there. You look to the left of the director's one, and down at 652, if you look to the left of it, there's nothing.
Right,
If you look to the left of the 1350, there's nothing. If you add all three of them, they come up to the same number that's in the top column, which makes it $3.99 a gallon, or 1,000, if you divide it. You know, it's just,
But you don't.
it's not put down there.
Yeah.
If they would've had 703 over in the board side, then it would be, come out to 2.5, $2.
Well, the number comes up the same, I just wanna make sure that
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
paying the same rate based on gallons, which the
Yeah.
user charge ordinance says we have to do.
Mhm.
Okay. All right,
Is this final reading?
hmm?
Is this final
Final,
reading of
this
the budget?
is
Second reading, yeah.
second reading.
And we have to do that by the end of this month?
You have to do it now.
Yeah,
Oh.
have to do it now.
We'll be here till the end of the month.
Yeah.
I'll move to approve the budget for 2016 as presented.
All second.
Who seconded? David?
Dave. Any further discussion?
What, are we using the board one, or are we using the director's one?
They're the same.
Numbers are the
Their
same. they're
numbers are
just-
the same, they're just,
Yeah.
One is condensed, one is
okay.
broken up.
All right. Call for the question, Doug.
Yes.
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 I vote yes.
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 MCU.
MCU, man.
Can't be over anymore.
Is there any more come before the board?
The job description is under the, director's current job description is under the FYI.
Okay, right, yeah, we'll have to work on that, you know. Yeah, yes, Crystal.
I don't always hear exactly what you say, so I'm not sure how you left the executive director position, but this is what I heard, if I heard it right. You are terminating the executive director position as it currently stands on December 31st, 2015. A new position will be created with substantial changes in job authority and duties. And Chopper is not able to accept this, and so he has decided to resign effective December 31st.
Not
Is that
resign.
right?
Not resign.
No,
No.
that's.
You're absolutely right, except for resignation.
Okay, and Chopper's current position has been terminated, and will be recreated in a different form. Is that right?
We don't know that yet, it might be in the same form.
There's been times where there's been like 2-month transitions and things change. And during that period, usually the chairman will come in and,
But the position as it sits now will be terminated and a new one created.
No.
Wait, now, are we terminating his position, or is he resigning?
Well, that's the question.
What is he doing, Ron?
Resignation, it's resignation.
Right, but it doesn't say, it says termination. Right?
We voted to terminate his job.
you've already, job, not me. You guys aren't firing Chopper McBride, you're terminating the position.
That's what I heard. You have terminated the position of executive director as it sits now, effective December 31st. And you will recreate a position more to what you feel is appropriate.
I don't like to use the word terminate, we are just gonna reevaluate the position.
Separation is a better word.
Okay, I get it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're here to,
So this job description, this is something that we all should be taking a look at and
yeah, I think so.
make some changes
Yeah.
to here and there.
Yeah. Okay, any more business?
Yeah, I don't think we're using the HR committee the way it should be used. A lot of times, if stuff is brought up to the HR committee and they review it and bring it back to a whole, I think that you'll find things work a lot simpler and quicker.
Well, we thought that though, Mike, is that the, HR is so important to the whole board and to get everybody
understand that.
involved. So we've been having a committee of the whole. Now, personally, I don't wanna have a meeting every week, to tell you the truth, myself. So, you know, everything's open to the public and we can discuss these things in public and.
I don't have a problem in doing them in public, but I think if you have an HR committee, you should utilize it to its fullest extent and then bring it back. And as a whole, they can discuss it and things can get done.
Yeah, right.
I think sometimes 3 or 4 people can slide things, I don't mean slide, get things through a lot simpler and bring back to the board. I mean, it's like, now sometimes we get 8 different opinions.
Well, right, I mean, nothing's simple.
I understand, but if HR committee gets something together and then presents it, maybe it would go through a lot smoother.
I doubt it.
Are you looking at maybe the HR reviewing this job description and then bringing it back to the board as a whole?
Well, I mean,
Well, that makes sense.
and I mean the same thing with, the meeting with the employees on the insurance. And I mean, some of this stuff, that's what an HR committee is set up to do, and we're not, I don't believe we're utilizing it the way it should be utilized.
Well, the insurance started at the HR, I remember that.
Yes, it did, and that's as far as it went.
And I know that was back probably February or March. So this is how long it's taken to resolve the insurance.
And if you use the HR committee the way it should have been used, it would have been a hell of a lot quicker.
I don't think so.
Well,
So, what's that gonna do to our ratings though?
What ratings?
TV.
I never thought of that. I've never seen it, so I don't even know what it's like.
Okay,
Say, John, could you tell me what it sounds like and watch
No,
it?
I see that, I see that, I see that.
Have you ever seen it? Okay, John.
The audience, is there anybody in the audience? Jim Ross.
I'd like to make a
Okay,
comment.
listen now.
I'd like to make a comment. I've been coming to these meetings for the last year. And as John pointed out, Chopper's resignation has been a big deal. So I look at the paper yesterday, the meeting starts at 8. If a board member never had told me last night that the meeting started at 7:30, you guys took action on one of the most important items that citizens that wanted to come and listen, if they would have come at 8, they would have missed the whole thing. I don't think that's right, that you guys rescheduled that meeting at 7:30 and didn't even post it. That's not the way you do business.
No.
I don't know why you did it, but that shouldn't have been done that way. You should have had it on the agenda.
It should have been posted if it's not normal
Yeah.
meeting time, that's what it should have been done. Should have been
I think
posted.
we have to apologize for that, because I noticed the same thing. It was something that just happened.
Well, I don't.
We don't do that. That's not our normal procedure. It was a snafu.
Well, it should have, why couldn't it have been put on the agenda? And at the beginning of the regular meeting at 8 o'clock, addition to agenda item, when you approve the agenda, it wasn't. And when you use the phrase, a meeting of the whole, that means you eliminate the public and press. So you better look at Robert, rules of orders before you use that phrase.
Committees are open to the public.
I know, but when you say that phrase, that's when you want to close the meeting. But that's all I got to say.
Well, I
Take a look at it.
I think it's important to say that the committee meetings there's very few, we have not closed the meeting
I understand
since
that.
I've been,
But the terminology you're using means that. Maybe you don't do it, but the terminology means that.
committee of the whole.
Committee of the whole has to be posted, doesn't
And it's a closed meeting.
it?
Well, it wasn't a closed meeting.
I know, but that's what it means.
No,
You take a look
committee of
at
the whole
it.
doesn't mean
That's
closed
all right.
meeting. Committee of the whole means an extra meeting, because you can't get your work done in a regular normal meeting. That's what that means. All right, well, we're adjourned then.
Okay, good job.